There's something truly special about a gin and tonic. In the UK, it's more than a drink, it's a ritual, a piece of culture. The clink of ice, the sharp scent of gin, the fizz of tonic, it's a classic, timeless pleasure. It connects generations. Your grandparents enjoyed it, and so will your children. But gin and tonic wasn't always a symbol of leisure. It began as medicine for British officers in India, with gin masking the bitterness of quinine. From this practical start, it became a British icon, a moment of calm, a celebration in a glass. Today, it's everywhere, in films, at parties, in city bars, and garden parties. The recent gin revival has brought a wave of creativity, with distilleries experimenting with local botanicals. But one ingredient is always essential: juniper. Without juniper, gin simply isn't gin. We expect our G&T to deliver that crisp, piney flavor every time. But what if that flavor is under threat? What if something is quietly changing the taste in your glass? The world is shifting, and so is the very essence of this beloved drink. The story of gin and tonic is about to get complicated. The next time you raise your glass, consider, is this the same drink as before? The answer may surprise you, because the taste of gin is changing, and the reason starts far from the bar. Let's find out why. Here's the problem. The world is getting warmer, and our climate is changing. We hear about melting ice caps and rising seas, but rarely think about how it affects our favorite drinks. Climate change is coming for your gin and tonic. It's not sudden, but a slow, creeping shift that alters the very ingredients in your glass. Gin's signature flavor comes from botanicals, plants sensitive to sun, rain, and temperature. When the climate changes, so do these plants. Too much stress can ruin their flavor, changing the chemical compounds that make gin taste like gin. The G&T you love today might taste different in a decade. For distillers, this is a huge challenge. How do you keep a consistent product when your main ingredient keeps changing? This isn't a distant problem, it's happening now. Scientists and distillers are already noticing differences in flavor. The health of our planet is reflected in the taste of what we consume. The story of gin is a reminder. We're all connected to the natural world, even through a simple cocktail. The future of gin depends on how we respond to these changes. And the story is just beginning. To understand gin's challenge, you need to know its heart, the juniper berry. Technically, it's a seed cone from the juniper tree, not a true berry. By law, gin must taste primarily of juniper. Without it, it's just flavored vodka. Juniper gives gin its crisp, piney, slightly citrusy flavor. The secret lies in its oils, packed with terpenes like alpha-pinene, which create that classic aroma. Most juniper isn't farmed. It's wild harvested from forests and mountains across Europe. The best comes from places like Italy, North Macedonia, and Serbia. Wild harvesting means quality depends entirely on nature. Any change in juniper's flavor has a huge impact on gin. If the juniper is off, the whole gin is off. No amount of other botanicals can hide it. That's why the health of juniper is crucial to every gin maker. The entire craft depends on this one wild ingredient. As the climate shifts, so does the taste of juniper. And that means the taste of gin is at risk. The foundation of gin is more fragile than we think. How do we know juniper's flavor is changing? Science. Researchers collect berries from different years and places, then analyze their chemical makeup. They've found a direct link between weather and the flavor compounds in juniper, especially alpha-pinene. Hot, dry summers produce different berries than cool, wet ones. This isn't theory, it's proven by years of data. Distillers aren't imagining things. The changes in their ingredients are real and measurable. This research is a wake-up call for the food and drink world. It shows how deeply our favorite flavors are tied to the climate. Understanding these changes is the first step to protecting the taste of gin. The story of juniper is now a story of science, weather, and adaptation. The future of gin depends on what we do with this knowledge. The challenge is clear and urgent. Juniper's taste isn't the same everywhere. Its terroir matters. Soil, climate, and environment shape each berry's flavor. In the Balkans, droughts are making juniper more intense but less balanced. In Italy, heat waves can cook the berries, flattening their flavor. In Scotland, too much rain can dilute the taste. Climate change is making these differences more extreme and unpredictable. There's no single story. Each region faces its own challenges. For gin makers, this means a patchwork of problems, not a one-size-fits-all solution. The classic gin profile is becoming harder to achieve. The future of gin will be shaped by the weather year after year. Every bottle tells a story of place and of a changing climate. The taste of gin is now a map of Europe's shifting weather. Think of the problem as wet years versus dry years. Each produces a very different juniper berry. In a dry year, hot weather stresses the tree, concentrating flavors, sometimes too much. The result can be harsh, resinous, and overpowering, losing the subtle notes that make gin elegant. In a wet year, berries are plump but diluted, with weaker, less distinct flavors. Gin made from these berries can taste bland and uninspiring. Distillers want the Goldilocks year, not too hot, not too wet, just right. But climate change is making these perfect years rare. Instead, extremes are becoming the norm, swinging from one challenge to the next. For gin makers, every harvest is a gamble. The art of gin is now about managing unpredictability. Consistency is harder to achieve than ever. The future may hold more variation between bottles and more surprises for drinkers. The classic gin taste is no longer guaranteed. The weather is now the hidden hand behind every G&T. The search for balance is becoming a battle against the elements. Gin's future depends on adapting to these new extremes. The story of gin is now a story of survival, and the stakes are rising. For gin makers, consistency is everything. Customers expect their favorite gin to taste the same every time. But when juniper changes, so must the recipe. Distillers now have to experiment, adjusting the mix of botanicals to balance out harsh or weak juniper. This means more testing, more risk, and more cost. A single bad batch can damage a brand, especially for small distilleries. Some distillers are blending juniper from different regions to create a more stable flavor. It's a smart but complex solution, requiring deep knowledge and careful sourcing. The art of gin is becoming more like science, constant analysis, constant adaptation. The challenge is growing, but so is the creativity of the industry. Gin makers are learning to work with nature's unpredictability. The quest for consistency is now a quest for survival. Every bottle is a testament to ingenuity and resilience. The future of gin will be shaped by those who can adapt. The classic taste we love is no longer a given. It's a moving target in a changing world. The gin industry must adapt or risk fading away. Distillers are searching for new sources of juniper, looking north to cooler climates like Scotland or Scandinavia. This could lead to new styles. Imagine a Nordic dried gin shaped by its unique terroir. Cultivating juniper, rather than wild harvesting, is another solution. Farming gives more control over water and resilience, but takes years to establish. The romance of wild berries may fade, but stability is key. Distillers are also blending juniper from different regions and years, much like non-vintage champagne. They're experimenting with new botanicals to balance changing flavors. The master distiller's job is becoming more complex and more creative. The gin essence was built on innovation, and that spirit will define the future. The industry's resilience will be tested, but new possibilities are emerging. Gin's story is one of adaptation and reinvention. The next chapter is being written now. So, what does this mean for your gin and tonic? Your evening drink is a product of the land, a taste of distant weather. As the climate changes, so will your G&T. You might notice more variation between bottles, and prices may rise as sourcing gets harder. But you'll also discover new flavors and styles as the industry adapts. The story of gin is a warning for all our favorite foods and drinks. Coffee, wine, chocolate, all depend on a stable climate. The challenges facing gin are a sign of what's to come for our global food system. Next time you sip a G&T, appreciate the story in your glass, a story of place, weather, and change. Protecting that taste means caring for the planet. The small pleasures in life depend on the health of the world around us. Cheers to adaptation, resilience, and the future of gin. The story isn't over, it's evolving, just like the drink itself, and every sip is